obstructions, all calamities, and
welcome
allow not any of these planetary retrograde.
hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me again is Morganne Rayne, Adept, visionary, spiritual guide, ceremonialist, and artist. We have very big difficulties again with our streaming for some reason. Morgan will explain to you what is going on, why we have something like that. That's why we started on Morgan asking universe to actually help us, support us to stream this video for you. So there we go. All floor yours, Morgan. What you bring for us today?
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. It's lovely to be here. It's a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. It's good. We do have several planets in retrograde at this time. And when that happens, electronics, communication can be a little wanky. So we're just going to know that what Spirit wants to speak today is give clearly and easily and without interruption. So I'm just giving thanks for that, and we will begin. I've had something on my mind since Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, I had the pleasure of doing a memorial service, and it is a pleasure for me when I do memorial services because it's the celebration of a life and the acknowledgement of that life and what that life means to people. Before the memorial service, I spent time in the morning in meditation and prayer, just to be to be centered, right? But to receive anything that would be important for the family. And particularly this family, and people may have they may have some resonance with this, because I think we all do, because we all come from a family, right? We have a family of origin, and we have ancestors, and we have all that. And what came up for me was the first thing I heard was focus on contracts. And I go, well, that's really interesting, because part of what was going on with that family were the end of life contracts that they had. So I go, okay, usually that's not my business. I just do the celebration of service, but Spirit asked me very clearly to focus on contracts. So I kind of kept sitting with what Spirit was telling me. And one of the things that I understand about contracts, I've talked a lot about contracts, making contracts between people. And usually that's done through vows that we take. And some of those vows can be conscious. Like if we decide to get married, we hope it's a conscious vow when we say those I do's. But there are also vows that we take that are kind of unconscious, that we make when we're not really thinking clearly or when we're broken. And how Spirit showed me that showed me it showed me an image of two people, and one of those people was obviously in distress and probably dying. And the person that was with them was promising with all his passion, with all his beingness, promising that he would never leave this person. I will never leave you. I will always be with you. Don't leave me. There was like this begging thing. Please don't leave me. And so in that vision, I saw the interchange of a contract or a vow made in brokenness, not in consciousness, but in brokenness. And so when I saw that, I realized how how we as humans, we do that. So, I mean, do you see where I'm going, Daiga, with this? I mean,
Yeah.
Right. And so when we're looking at dynamics of relationships, and I think about that piece of information that was given to me, I began to think about, and it was so appropriate for this family in the afternoon when I did that memorial service, when I did talk about contracts and talk about making contracts in the brokenness. What happened was they were starting to understand relationships within their families. And we do that. We can do that too. When we have relationships, we'll pick on our families because that's so close and intimate. It's easy to do. And I think everybody here can pick something in their family, no matter what kind of family. They could even be adopted into a family. That's another kind of a contract. But we won't go into that. But when we have someone within our family that the relationship is highly contentious, there's like a lot of energy, a lot of maybe sometimes anger or disagreements, but there can also be people within your family that you feel very close and bonded to, feel very safe. So you see the dynamics play out in relationships all the time. And when we have within our families a very highly contentious relationship, and it's like, why is this relationship the way it is? What's going on here? You can begin to start thinking about, have I made an unconscious contract with this person? Like maybe not even in this lifetime, maybe it was another lifetime. And so for the people that I was doing the memorial service there, I walked them through a process. It was very unusual memorial service because I don't usually do that kind of work during that, but that's what Spirit wanted. So what came up was for them was indeed relationships that had been contracted in previous lifetimes, and relationships with those people that where they made an unconscious commitment or vow to them. And so when we began to just like look at the trauma of that event, and we were able to heal the trauma of that event, they could come back into this lifetime and they're no longer carrying the trauma of that event. They decided to make a new vow, a new contract that more would support them in this life experience, because the past is past unless we drag it in with us. And we can drag it in with us from, our childhood or a previous life. And that's exactly what happens. We drag in these old contracts, these old vows, and they're no longer serving us. And when we realize that they're no longer serving us, it could be we're done with them. And we forgot to say, oh, I'm done. That's over. I let you go. I set you free. Whatever needs to happen within that. There's a fallacy as well. This is what Spirit was telling me, that we think that we have these contracts with beings so that we can learn something, right?
Yeah.
But I ask, is that really true? Are those vows and commitments we made that are no longer working, is that for us to learn something? We certainly can learn something. Or is it simply because they're done and they're complete? And that's when Spirit started talking to me about, well, we made contracts in our brokenness. We made contracts out of fear. We make deals and vows when we're not in the reality of where we want to be. So remember how we've talked about having a vision. Without a vision, the people perish,
Yeah.
right? So they're going on an old vision, an old promise, trying to work out that old karmic stuff. And it doesn't put them in the present moment with a new vision. Where are you in this incarnation, in this life? Why are you here? What's your purpose here, right? So you become unpurposeful. You become just this energy that's trying to support an unconscious vow or unconscious contract. So it's so important to take a look at relationships that we have with our family members or friends. And then you can extend that out into your communities. What's your relationship like in your communities? You know, why are you here? In your world, why am I here? What's the contract that I have, that you have, that each of us have, that we would incarnate on the planet at this time when everything is up for change. Everything is, well, before change, things come apart, right? What in the world were we thinking that we said, yes, we would incarnate right now into a big fat mess, right? But the thing is, within us, we have also contracted with Source, with Creator. Now, that's the ultimate contract that we want to focus on. The other contracts with humans and relationships, this lifetime or past lifetimes, those all need to be cleaned, cleared, and released. And you can do that, and we'll do exercise, because, of course, Spirit showed me an exercise to release some of those old contracts. Yay!
Yay!
Because we don't have to live under that, what some people call bad karma, bad relationships, or and you know, sometimes we might even have a contract or a vow with ourselves. Like, I know one time I'd had a past life regression where I had made a vow of poverty. Boy, what was I thinking then, right? I made a vow of poverty that extended into this lifetime, in the beginning of my lifetime. And I needed to understand what that was. And when I realized I'd made a vow of poverty in a previous lifetime, I have to ask myself, am I done with that? Does that serve any purpose for me now? And I would say anyone who is struggling with finances, you need to ask yourself, have I made a vow of poverty in this lifetime or in a previous lifetime? I remember there was a striking thing that happened when I realized that I had made a vow of poverty. I talked to my mother when live about that. And she says, well, there's no sin in being poor. It's like, whoa. It's like that capsule that I tossed. There's no sin in being poor. Well, I want to say that's not true. I think because I think sin is an error. I think there is an error in being poor, which says there's not enough. I'll never have enough. So that's another vow that we make with ourselves. And she's affirming I made that vow. And that's when I got very thought-filled, prayer-filled for a change of heart, a change of mind, and say, I'm done with that. I want to experience of all that is. I want to experience goodness. I want to experience blessings. I want to experience plenty. Like I started using words I hadn't used before, now push into this new vow that I was making. And you have to make a new vow when you let go of a vow, because we know nature abhors a vacuum. If you don't fill that space back up, that spaciousness up, then you will go back to the old way, because it's automatic. All right. So that's about taking responsibility for your new vow. You take responsibility for the old vow, call them done, call them complete, And then you have to take responsibility for your new vow. You get intimate with it. If you have a plentiful, a vow of expansion and growth, a vow of living the best life you can live every day, then it's your responsibility to do everything that supports that new vow, right? So if we have a new vow of prosperity, what do? What's the responsibility we take? We begin to talk about our thinking and about our feeling. Do you think thoughts of prosperity? Or is the duality, oh, I don't have enough. Oh, there's plenty. Oh, I don't have enough. You see how that duality begins to kind of cancel.
It contradicts each other.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you a very funny story about me a month ago. I realized I had a habit, and and no one pointed it out to me. I hear it in my head when I would say it was something I would say, and it was a duality. I would go, yeah, no. I go, yeah, no. I did that all the time. And I'm like, whoa, okay, so I made a new commitment to myself. You're going to choose one or the other. It's going to be yeah, or it's going to be no. You're not going to go, oh, yeah, no. So it is and now I start to think, yeah, no. I go, oh, I'm not doing that. And then I go, I choose. This is where the power is. I choose yes. I choose yes. And I choose everything that supports that yes. And that becomes my sacred yes. Or I can choose no. No is a good choice too. If I choose no, then I do everything I can to support that choice, and it becomes my sacred no. So there, yes or no, neither one of those are wrong, because sometimes it's really appropriate to say no. Sometimes it's really appropriate to say yes. So this is where we become very conscious about the vows we speak into existence. I heard someone on a trading group not too long ago that said, I don't think I'll ever get it. And I just wanted to reach out through the the line and just coach that person on, you think you're never going to get it, and so it is, right? Mm-hmm. But those kinds of things are now so being very glaringly obvious to me. Okay, so let's go back to when we want to be complete with a contract. The biggest, the most helpful way, the most complete way is forgiveness. And we've talked about forgiveness many times. When we forgive ourselves for making that vow, or we forgive the other person involved in that, when we can every day, if it takes 20 times to forgive 20 times, that forgiveness will lift you from, will free you from those old contracts. It's through forgiveness that you let it go. Now, this is the thing that Spirit really coached me on, is being careful about recontracting. Okay, how do we recontract? Recontract is done when we start to complain about the person. We stay angry with the person. We talk about the person or the event in a negative way. We recontract with it, right? You think you forgave, but then you go, oh, that da da da. When we speak upset, blame, or shame, we have just recontracted. So stay out of that lower density of energy, all that blame, shame, and all that, because that will drag you right back down into those old contracts. So if you find yourself recontracting, forgive yourself. Like, just like, I did it again. I'm so sorry. I forgive myself. Then we can do Ho'oponopono, right? I love Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. So you can use Ho'oponopono to keep lifting you out. So be very cautious about recontracting. And then the other thing too is, if you're finding a struggle to let something go, you can plead insanity. I love this coaching. If you made right? So you can plead insanity. If you make a contract to do something that feels horrific or horrible, or is really not in alignment with your higher self, you can say, okay, Spirit, I just plead insanity. When I made that, when I spoke that, when I made that, I was not in my higher self. I was in my lower self. Forgive me. I forgive myself, and I come back to clarity. I come back to purpose. I come back. We all can go temporarily insane every once in a while, right? And certainly in the big, in my unconscious days, I had a lot of insanity. But even as you're growing and becoming more aware, you have temporary bouts of insanity. And right now I see a world that is really teetering with insanity, like craziness. But that's all a reflection of us. It's all a reflection of humanity. So if we want insanity in the world to be healed, well, what's the vision we have for the world? What's our vow and our commitment? What did you promise, Spirit? What do you have within you? What's the skills you have within you that said, I can come here at this time and I can hold a clear vision of love and health and wholeness and prosperity and goodness for humanity, that humanity is so worth that. There's the AI thing, right? AI is way better than humanity. I don't think so. AI can't feel. AI does not have compassion. AI does not experience love. It's a total thought calculation experience. And yeah, it can do some pretty amazing things, but it can't connect with God. It cannot connect with Source. It is very disconnected from that. So, do you have any questions? I just feel like I've just rambled.
No, I don't have questions, but I just think I like this insanity play, because I find myself, even I already for 10 years or so already on this path, and I'm learning how to change my thoughts and how I have to live in love and light and everything. And still there is so many challenges around the way, yeah, that time and time again you just feel how it brings you back. But thank God I have this knowledge that I actually managed to get out. Yeah, okay, what I done now? Okay, I don't want to do this. I know I done wrong, but okay, now I'm changing this to something else. Yeah,
Exactly. Like, oh, yeah, that's another error, right? Oh, yeah, because and it's an error because it doesn't feel good. We weren't put here to feel awful. We were here to experience the joy and the love of Creator. So it's when we find ourselves in those reflective places of this isn't right, honestly, that forgiveness piece, just like you said, was like, oh, oh, here I am again, but I forgive myself because I'm a human, right? I've been playing this game for a long time, but I'm expanding myself. I'm growing myself. I'm becoming more like creator. You begin to talk yourself into it and feel yourself into it. That's the important part, is that thought plus a feeling equals the result. Remember, I remember teaching that from the very beginning. A thought plus a feeling equals the result. So those things got to line up. If you're feeling crappy, go back and find out what's the thought behind that crap, right? And forgive yourself. Choose a new thought. Choose a more powerful thought. Choose a better thought. Choose a vision. Even better, choose a vision. And even higher than that, go back and what's the vision God has for my life? What is the vision Creator created me for? So those are high visions. And those are the visions I try to live out in my life every day, so that I can go out, and because I truly believe God created me to be a light here in the darkness, a light. Now, if I go out there and say, hey, I'm the light of the world, people are going to look at me like, oh, yeah, you're a lunatic. It's okay. It doesn't matter, because I'm going to still not only shine my light, I'm going to imprint my light. And it's not my light. This is source light. This is God's light. This is love. I'm going to imprint that wherever I go. So what that means is that I'm going to give it freely. I'm going to give it out freely. So anyone who is ready to catch that light, catch that love, it's there for them. And so I know that's why God put me here, because if I don't do it, then my life is miserable. So I have to go back to that high contract. Yeah, I think that's about all I have. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, that's all the notes I have on it. If you have any other questions on contract?
I have one more question. How about you? At one moment when you talked, you said that there is thought that actually everything what comes our way, our experiences and miseries and everything, is for our learning, but it isn't. How you can tell, how you can explain that? It is, but it isn't.
Right. Let me go back up to my notes where I got answered that question.
It was somewhere on the beginning.
Yeah, it's about okay, so there's a fallacy that we make contracts because we need to learn something.
Yeah, but it's not.
Spirit told me that's a fallacy. That's something that we've told ourselves. We can learn something from it, right? But if we hold out that this is for our learning, this is something we need to learn, we may hold this as that, right? What we're learning is learning how to let go? What if we're learning how to forgive? What if that's what the learning is, and we miss that opportunity to do that because we think there's some other big learning piece that needs to happen around this? The thing is, we've come here to love, to forgive, to share our light, to uplift humanity, to heal, to be present and awake. But if we spend our time thinking that this is just simply a learning planet, that's all we're going to be doing is learning. We won't be expanding. We won't be remembering. We'll just be stuck in remembering. And so the fallacy is that we get stuck in, oh, I'm just learning. Oh, I'm just learning. When really, maybe really all we need to do is go, okay, I'm done with that contract. It's time for me to expand. Saying that we are just learning keeps us pushed down. It keeps our it's like, oh, I'm never gonna. It's kind of like what I heard on that call. I think I'll never be able to do this, right? So there's the thought, oh, great, another lesson, right? uh, when something comes around, what if it's, oh, great, I get to expand beyond this. So you see how that shifts it? It's not a lesson anymore. It's an opportunity to leap off and go, oh, I get to have a bigger point of view. I get to have a new thought around this. So, so I believe that's how I interpreted that when Spirit told me that when we hold those contracts, those old relationships as a learning lesson, that's not true. That's a fallacy that humanity has. It's kind of like an ego part of us. And that ego, what's the purpose of ego? We created it. All along our lives, we create ego. We create ego that helps us stay safe. It's kind of like a governor we put on ourselves that says, oh, you can go this far, but you can't go that far, right? So ego becomes what I call the defensive gatekeeper. So when things are happening, ego can say, I told you so, or you're gonna never make it. You're not gonna, so the ego's always trying to hold you back. So we also, that's contracting with ourselves, actually, that ego part. That's a contract we make with ourselves. Those are vows we make with ourselves. But usually when we're little bitty kids, right? When we're little, we say, oh, if you watch your family and you watch the dynamics within your family and you come into alignment with that, that's a vow you make with your family, right? Even though if it's not good or, it's not fun or whatever, it's a vow you make with your family. So it's more than a learning lesson. It's an opportunity. Each one of those things is to expand into more. Does that help with your question?
Yes. I think now it's more understandable, this.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm still playing. I mean, I got this on Sunday and it's like still running around in me. And I thought, well, we'll just talk about that today, because if it's running around in me, then it's probably up for other people too.
Most
so,
definitely.
Yeah. Actually, the vows and contracts we make with ourselves. If you can look at your life and you can pretty much figure out that you've made vows and contracts just by where you are in your life. And then where, like, I have 4 amazing children. I love them all so much. One of those children does not speak to me, right? So there was a period of time where I struggled with that. I was actually dismal about it. It started to speak to me in very destructive ways and it brought forward unlovingness that I was feeling within myself. So in some ways, it's really elevated me in recommitment to self. So through this process, so it's been, let me see how many years. It's been about 6 years I've not had a conversation with this son. And today I'm celebrating his ability to choose what he needs in his life. I mean, totally celebrating that. I honor him. And if I don't get to have him as my son anymore, he'll always be my son, right? But if I don't get to have that close relationship like we had before, it doesn't matter. It's like though that is, it's like a moot point if I get angry with it or be mad at it or suffer with it. I kept recontracting with that suffering. When I decided to let it go and have a new thought about it, my new contract is to allow him to choose whatever it is he needs to choose for his own soul's development. It set me free. It just set me free. And I love him dearly. It didn't take away the love, which is wonderful. It's wonderful for me, and it's not about him. It's about me. It's about what do I choose. So, would you like to do an exercise to?
I think, yes, I think that would be very good if we learn how to get rid of this contract, which one even unconsciously we make, subconsciously. So that would be very good learning.
Yeah, and the ones that plead insanity. I just love that. I just cracked up when I heard that. Is plead insanity. Well, yeah, because you were totally insane when you made. It's like, I get it. I get it. All right. Let me just look at my notes because I want to do what Spirit asked me to do. Okay. All right. Let's begin. So let's first get into our bodies, which we always do by getting our feet flat on the floor. And let's just begin by taking some beautiful breaths in and letting them go. Dropping just deeply into our body temples. Another breath in. Allowing the awareness of that breath to just expand our interior and let it go. And then just check in with your body. Are you feeling more grounded, more connected to your body temple, to the life here that you've chosen in this body? So just check in with that. Feel the bottom of your feet. Check in, where are your hands? Just check in and begin to just honor right where you are. And take another deep breath in. Preparing yourself to be present so that we can heal, clean, and clear what no longer belongs. And that requires being fully present in the moment. Take another deep breath in. And let it out. And just find your own natural breathing rhythm, staying very present in your body. And if something is coming up right now that you have to tend to, just bring yourself back. And as we are just present in our bodies, I want you to move into your heart. I request you move into your heart. And take some little breaths into your heart, say, just waking up that heart chakra. You might even say good morning, heart, or good afternoon, or good evening, heart, wherever you are in the world. Just coming present into your heart. And as you are in your heart, I want you to think about, and we'll just do a relationship. It can be a family, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker. It doesn't matter. Think about that relationship that may be causing you angst or worry or grief or suffering on some level. And just give you a few moments to just contact that. These are relationships that make you sense or not feel good about yourself. It's okay. And just feel into that relationship and notice how it makes you feel. And just name how it makes you feel. I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel disconnected. I feel whatever it is. Just let how does this make you feel? And what are the thoughts you have about this person? Think about those and just get really into this connection you have with this one. And as you're into this feeling, ask your soul self, take me back and show me my first connection with this being, this other soul, where we had this same feeling. Soul, take me back to the time, to the experience where I had this same experience and feeling with this one. Take a breath in and allow your soul to take you back on a timeline, following the feeling. And as you land into that feeling, into this first time experience with this person, just look around and see what is occurring. Who are you? Who is the other person? What's going on? Just notice as a bystander, what's going on? What words are being said? What feelings are being had? What commitments are you making? Are you thinking and feeling from your higher self, or are you thinking and feeling from fear or suffering or the sense of loss? And as you witness this, the aspect of you that is in this drama, speak to that aspect of you from the past that is having this experience. And in that communication with the self of you, just say, hello, I'm here. I'm your higher self. I'm your awake self. Just let that aspect know you're there. And whatever is going on in that moment, let your higher self speak to this one that is in distress or making a bad choice, or choice that you know is not going to serve them throughout time. And ask them in this moment to forgive themselves in this moment. Just bring some forgiveness to the self for the dynamic that's being created here. Just to bring it back to themselves. To forgive themselves for what's going on. Forgive the other person for what's going on. And take a breath into that forgiveness. And let it go. And as you are standing there witnessing and being in this presence of this new idea of forgiveness, notice that with you is Divine Mother, who's always present with us, witnessing, loving, offering, remembering for us. Just allow her presence to be with you as you witness yourself in the past, in the dynamics with this other. And ask yourself, with Divine Mother being present, and as you communicate to your past self, past soul self, would you be open to a new vow or to a new contract? Would you be open to that? Would you be open to a different belief system to carry you through? Would you be open to a new thought? Would you be open to a different kind of thought where infused in is a statement of the Holy Spirit? Would you be open? Would you be open to believe that you can have the new thought, the new feeling right now? Take a breath in. And ask your past soul self, what would you prefer to feel and think right now? Would you like to feel love? Hope? What would you like to feel? And just capture that feeling and capture that new thought in that moment. And with Divine Mother fully present there with all of you, allow that new thought to enter into your past soul self and just watch. You do it as well. And the past soul self can fall in line. So as you are witnessing, what is the higher thought you would like to have right now? The sense and feeling that I am free, I am love, I am light. Just capture that. And breathe into that new thought and that new feeling. And now we're going to breathe in that feeling from the top of your head. So whatever that new thought and new feeling is, take a breath into the top of your head, letting it fill your brain, which some people think is the mind, but the mind's all over, but the brain and all its synapses and its capacity to think and know. Breathe it into that and let go. And bring another breath with that new thought and that new feeling into your third eye. So it integrates as your vision for yourself, a vision that's filled with light and love and peace. And let the breath go. Take a new breath with that thought and that feeling and breathe it into your throat chakra so that the words that you speak are infused with your new vision of what Source would rather for you. Hold that in your throat chakra, let it integrate, and let the breath go. We're going to take another breath into the heart. That breath is filled with the new thought, the new vision, the new feeling. Breathe that into your heart. And hold it there, allowing this download to come into the resonance of unconditional love. And release the breath of any conditioned love. And remember now that this message can be carried with every beat of your heart from now on. And let's take another breath into the heart. Letting the heart, the beat of that heart, to let that blood course through every vein in your body, spreading this download through your entire body matrix. And it will just continue to do this because we speak it now, that this is so. And we'll take another breath filled with that vision, that new thought, that new feeling, and breathe it into your solar plexus, the seat of your will, your divine, linking up your personal will with your divine will, letting that new thought, that new feeling integrate into your will. And release and let go any pettiness, any mistakes. For now, we are following the will of Creator, following the will of the new vision. Take another breath into your sacral chakra with the new thought, the new feeling. Opening up that second chakra, that sacral chakra, the seat of your creation, your creativity, and allow that to expand with the new thought, with the new feelings of love and light, so that now all that you create, you can sense and experience the power of creation growing and expanding and being unleashed with infinite possibility to create. Feel into how that feels. The infinite possibility to create. Now we're going to take another breath, and this time we're going to go to the root chakra. And this breath is infused with the light and the love and the new thought and the new vision and this power to create and the stability we have within us, and it's coursing through our veins. Breathe that into your root chakra. And hold it there as you sense and feel you bringing this vision, this idea, this feeling down into this third dimension, into this embodiment of you, who you are present in this lifetime. And release that breath and let go. Just let go, relax into it. And now experience that energy that's in that root chakra, the energy of this new feeling, this new self, this new beingness, this being reborn, and connect it to your earth star chakra, about 12 inches below your feet. Just connect it there, because you are here on this earth at this time in this body with this new vision, with this new capacity, with this new love, connected to our planet. And as you stand in that connection, as you stand in the energy of the new thought and the new vision, now connected in your body and now connected to you as who you are in this lifetime, take a breath into that. Move into your heart now and ask your heart, what is the vision that Spirit has for me right now, just in this moment? And if you receive that, just receive it into your heart with gratitude. And you can decide and choose from this point, do you want to vow with Creator, with Source, to complete that, to be that? Can you choose from your thinking and feeling to support that vision, to take responsibility for that vision? Take a breath in. Notice that the Divine Mother is still present with you. Be at peace within your own body temple. And as we are here, I'd like for you to bring up that image of that person with who you had a dynamic relationship that you went back into the past with. Just bring up who they are in this lifetime. And notice within your own self, what are your thoughts about this person? What do you feel about this person? And just notice. And would you like to, in this lifetime, carry a higher thought, a higher experience of this person? And the way to do that is to contract with the love within yourself, to be committed to the love within yourself, and to practice forgiving yourself when you slip, or forgiving them when they slip. And just be in static, rhythmic breathing, and allow this person to just fade away, coming back to yourself. Come back to your heart. Come back to your vow to yourself in the current moment. Come back to your body, feeling your body, that you're on the earth. You're here on this planet at this time. Start to move around and move your hands and your feet, move around. Take some breaths. And come back and be with me.
And here I am.
And here you are. So that was what Spirit gave to me for assisting to change our contracts, to go back into the past, make new decisions, and come forward. So how was that meditation for you, Daiga?
Brilliant. I hope this time I I really finish with contract. I didn't choose person. I choose lack of money instead.
That's a relationship.
Yeah.
You had a relationship with lack of money.
Yeah.
Right.
So I sure this time really it went way for good, because it was really when you ask later to bring it back, yeah, it feels like all this issue is just shrink. It's like some sort of vague tiny object in far away, yeah, and everything else like this light and abundance and everything and blessings is here, and this is just fading away.
Yeah. And that's
So
what it is. You don't have that connection to the lack of money like you had before. Now you have a connection to prosperity.
yeah,
To
I
growth, to
really feel
expansion.
this. Yeah, I really feel this change in shift in all this. Wonderful. Another wonderful show, another wonderful teachings from you. Thank you very much for your time, Morganne. And everybody who is
You're welcome.
watching this program, I'm absolutely sure it's very beneficial. If you watch this program for the first time today, please go back. This is our 14th show. So there is already on YouTube 14 lessons, very good, very deep lessons from spirit, from our creator. And Morganne is bringing us almost every week when something not going on wrong with us, both of us, each of us, or something, then we always coming back, and our plant is coming back next Thursday as well. Is there anything else, Morganne, you want to tell our viewers?
Let's see if Spirit has something to say. Spirit saying, be careful of recontracting. Know you're recontracting with what you let go of. If you start speaking about it, if you start feeling into it, quickly go, no, that's, I forgive myself. I let that go. This is how we're thinking.
I just
this
went
is how we're
crazy
being.
for a
This
moment.
is what.
I just went crazy
Right?
for a moment.
I went crazy. I plead insanity. Oh, stay sane, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. And from our hearts to yours, thank you, and God bless. See you next time.